Good afternoon, fellow Rotarians and guests. Welcome to the weekly lunch meeting of the Rotary Club of Barrie. Things go better when you are here. And guess who is here? He's down on the bottom of my screen. I am thrilled to reintroduce, I suppose, but very happy as heck that Todd Tuckey is in our meeting today. Todd.
Thank you, President Jody. It's fun to be back, somewhat mentally, and for your first real meeting. It's been a little bit of a scary roller coaster. I'd like to thank the club for your thoughts and prayers and things. All in all, it's okay. As you know, Jody had a brain aneurysm, so a bleeding of the brain, so that proved you wrong there. I do have one. I'm not sure how much is left, but there's something going on in there. Anyways, yeah, just home recovering. Look forward to hearing from some fellow Rotarians. And for those that have the time and want to come over and enjoy the alcohol before it goes bad, it's just going to sit here and ruin. So I'll just watch you drink. And just a quick note, Jody, when I went down to Toronto, I was checking in on the ER, and the nurse was saying, you know, do you know where you are? And I'm like, I'm at a hospital in Toronto somewhere. She said, yeah, you're Toronto Western. She said, and what brought you here today? I said, well, from all recollections, I think it was an ambulance. Did they tell you something different? She's looking at me like I got two heads, and I'm thinking, no, I don't have two heads. I don't have one that even functions right now. But anyways, very fortunate. Dr. Rabanovich and his neurosurgeon team said, unlike your wording, Jody, they called it a miracle. They said I shouldn't even be alive right now for what I've endured. But last Monday, they said I'd be in for at least 2 more weeks. And on Wednesday, they sent me home with a lot of morphine, which is an incredible drug that I could only last a couple of days. I had to get off of it. The hallucinations and things and nightmares and that, it's just, I don't know how anybody, I mean, you need it for the pain, and I appreciate that it's there for that. But no, I got off that, went to the Tylenol. I couldn't endure it. But anyways, sorry to take up your time. I just wanted to thank everybody, and everybody know that I'm up for some visitors or phone calls or whatever. If you just get past Sandy, the gatekeeper, just it could be nap time. And another reason I joined Rotary here today, because I'm not really tired, but I figured this will put me to sleep. So it's a good segue. So thank you, President Jody.
Todd, you scared the heck out of us. Glad to have you back here, brother.
Thank you, everybody.
We will begin our meeting in our traditional fashion with Rotary invocation, O Canada, and a toast to the Queen. Please remove your hats and stand if you are able to. For good food, for good friends, and for the opportunity to provide service above self through Rotary, we are thankful.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot life in all of us command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true, most strong and free. From far and wide, oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, Canada, we stand on God for thee.
And a toast to the Queen. Please be seated. Our Beacon editor this week is Brandon Elliott. Thank you for stepping up, Brandon. If you have any announcements, please forward a copy to Brandon for inclusion in our Beacon. And a shout out to Doug Jur for a great Beacon last week. Your summary of the changeover ceremony was excellent. Thank you, Doug. I truly enjoyed reading it. At the PETS conference in April, RI President Shekhar Mehta introduced the 2021-2022 Rotary International theme to us. Jeff, is it up? That theme is Serve to Change Lives. Now, I would normally place this banner at the forefront of the pulpit of the head table. However, for now, it will hang on the backdrop, as you can see, until we return home to South Shore Center. I would also like to take a moment to thank everyone for the wonderful greetings, chat messages, texts, and emails that I have received since our changeover ceremony. I certainly read them all, and each one was very much appreciated. Thank you. And a sincere thank you to past President Debbie and Steve for hosting the event at your home. What a grand day it was. I'll now call upon the membership to introduce any guests that we may have. I can only see part of the screen. Do we have any guests here, folks? If you do, please unmute and introduce.
You have a guest, President Joe.
I guess technically I do, don't I? I would, great point, thank you. I would like to introduce guest and First Lady Paula Reed. I can't see on my screen, hun, but my beautiful, wonderful partner, Paula, is with us today. So thanks for joining us, Paula. And Paula, on behalf of the club and myself, please accept a warm greeting and feel free to come back to the club at any time. And as you all may have read in Secretary Jeff's meeting invite, we will be retaining the Zoom format for the next few meetings. Although we cannot gather in one large group just yet, we certainly can meet in smaller groups to enjoy some fellowship. I would encourage you to reach out and invite a few Rotarians to lunch. Perhaps consider inviting a new Rotarian that you do not know as well as some others. And to address our meeting location plans. We will obviously continue to follow the direction, if you can call it that, and instructions of our government. As restrictions are lifted and our meeting opportunities increase, we will respond and adapt in a timely and responsible manner. In my speech last week, I indicated that we would lay out a few expectations and guidelines for the coming year. We have made a few changes to the process for the weekly meetings, and I am hoping that you will support these requests. Please keep your microphone muted unless you are speaking. Take a second to visually confirm that you are actually on mute. If and when I make a mistake up here, or should you have a complaint or a comment that you wish to share, please contact me after the meeting. I will not have my phone with me at the podium, and just as we would not randomly shout out from the floor at South Shore, I am respectfully asking that that doesn't happen during Zoom meetings. When we have a speaker making a presentation, should you wish to multitask or need to leave the room, please consider turning off your video feed. Standing here, speaking to the Zoom audience and seeing people on the monitor walk out of the presentation can be quite unnerving. And finally, there is an awful lot of work that goes on behind the scenes to prepare and host these meetings. To try and minimize these time demands, we have committed to having any information, pictures, or screen sharing requests that are required submitted by Wednesday evening. I am asking the club to please work with us on that deadline. If you have an announcement or presentation that you wish to share, please let Secretary Jeff and myself know by Wednesday evening. I understand that this isn't always possible, However, I would like to not make adjustments to the agenda on Thursday morning. So enough of me for now. It's time to have a little bit of fun. Let's catch up on some birthdays and anniversaries. Birthday greetings go out to Kim Jeffrey on July 9th, Doug Manning, and I'm not sure if you're with us today, Doug. I can't see all the meetings, but also July 9th, happy birthday. Randy Maxim, July 10th, and I won't say which number it is, but you can maybe figure out, I think it's a big one. Happy birthday, July 10th, Randy. And Darren Robinson, also July 10th. And anniversary greetings to Wayne and Lisa Dennis as they celebrate their 21st anniversary. Congratulations, guys. A donation to our club's Polio Plus eradication campaign will be made in all of your names. Jeff? At my request, past President Dave McCullough has amped up his electric guitar playing skills. And ladies and gentlemen, I'd be lying to you, but I'm going to tell you that was past President Dave. So now, the moment that you have all been waiting for. I am excited to finally be able to turn the mic over to Sergeant at Arms Larry. Larry, the mic is yours.
Yeah, I'm quite sure that everybody's really been waiting for this moment. Firstly, I want to say thank you to all of the past SAAs on whose broad shoulders I stand, except for young Jason, who purchased this cut, and I'm a 44 tall, and this just doesn't work. So I'm going to apply for a district grant, and I'll need some help with this to get some gussets put in here and here so that I and future corpulent sergeants at arms can fit it on, but no such luck today. So the first thing we're going to do this year, and I'm going to do this every week if there's demand for it, is we've started a new program called Letters to Lars. So if you have something irreverent or that you'd like to talk about privately with me that I can embarrass you about in public with, then just let me know. So we're going to dive into that. But before that, I just want to say what a beautiful, lovely, sunny afternoon for a Rotary meeting we have today. I was reading about Rotary and rain, and it's, I guess, a legend or something that every drop of rain represents a tear that a Rotarian will cry during your year. So anyways, Secretary Jeff, could we pull up the first letter to Lars? So this one reads, Dear SAA Lars, as you know, we had a pool recently for which we all made bets as to how long it would take President Jody to cry at the changeover meeting. Do you recall who picked 36 seconds? We couldn't believe that, but we thought it would take at least 2 minutes. Thanks for being so cool. DD and ED. I'm not sure who DD and ED are, but what have you. Anyways, so I don't have the records as to who picked 36 seconds before President Jody shed a tear. He said he wasn't crying. He was just a little choked up, but I was there. I saw it.
If I may, Sergeant at Arms Larry, and I can. Okay. That's how it rolls. I'd like to thank Secretary Jeff for not sending out the YouTube video yet, because there's no proof. So we're going to deal with it here. I don't recall breaking down at 36 seconds, or for that matter, at all.
Well, we can look forward to the video of that. Secretary Jeff, do you have the second letter? This letter to Lars says, Dear SAA Lars, I really like the pic of you in overalls and no shirt. You're the most handsome SAA ever. Your #1 fan, KC. Yeah, this was anonymous, so I'm not sure who that came from.
Now, I took a bit of time and went through our roster, and being a little smart, I started with the letter C for the last name, and I could only come up with one member that was KC, and I see a smirk on his face in the middle of my screen right now. So really, Kyle, what are you thinking?
Well, Kyle, sorry.
President Jody, thank you for asking me, and I think I am the only KC. You're normally one would come on here and try to avoid some type of fine, which I think I'm going to be levied regardless. So just to be clear, just as you weren't choking up, I'm not throwing up right now by reading that letter.
All right. Well, I'm blushing, which is the least of my worries right now. But thank you very much for the kind compliment, Kyle. And I would agree with you that I am the most handsome SAA ever. Anyways, our friend Todd Tuckey. I know, Todd, you already kind of gave us the program for the day with your 25-minute speech about how well you're doing. But how are you doing, brother? You doing okay? Maybe it's nap time. But the reason that I wanted to bring Todd up, just to make sure, of course, he did speak earlier, and we're so glad he's okay. And we gave him a couple nice rounds of applause, which was great. But this, there he is.
Tuckey,
Tuckey.
hang on a minute here. So Todd, again, glad you're here. We've talked about this. There's no free passes. It's time to get down to brass tacks. You missed the meeting last week.
Yeah.
You're late on the screen here. I'm not impressed. Like, I don't care. Larry, what are we doing with this? We're setting the bar right now.
It was 2 weeks ago. Last week was
Semantics, irrelevant.
But you're our good friend Todd. You doing okay, brother?
I'm good, thank you.
Good, good. He was in the hospital fighting a courageous battle.
Now, okay, great, whatever. There was a lottery last week, and somebody in Simcoe County won some obscene amount of millions of dollars. I don't think the Rotary Club of Barrie had a stake in the game on that. Would that be correct?
Well, normally speaking, especially after Todd's big lottery wins and general good luck about stuff like that, you would have figured he would have come up with 10 or 20 or 30 tickets for us. But you're right, we got nothing.
So, you know what? The fines haven't changed in many years. When I was SAA, the best SAA, by the way, many, many years ago, I think they were $2 and $5 fines. Mr. Tuckey,
You were an SAA.
we all know your history and mine as SAA. Let's leave that alone. Todd, I'm laying down the law. $100 for missing the opening meeting last week. What do you think?
Well, I mean, I guess that's okay, but I do believe I did call you from my hospital bed to apologize, even though I don't really recollect much of the conversation because the morphine kicked in, but I did feel bad for missing it, but okay. Where should I leave it? In the mailbox? Just leave it in the mailbox?
No, we'll come pick it up. Marco's going crazy on the screen. And just for the record, Todd, when you called me, I think I was on my third bottle of wine, so I don't remember what we talked about either. So it's all good.
All right, glad to hear it.
That may set the tone for the year, that bit of nonsense. Anyway, back to more traditional SAA stuff. Catherine, are you on, there's Catherine right there. Can you unmute please for a quick second?
Hi, President Jody and SAA Eric.
Hi, Catherine. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too.
So Catherine, here's a picture that I got a hold of you standing beside a beautiful brand new, can you tell us about this picture?
Okay, this is my new Tesla Model Y, and I figured this would show up at some point. Yeah, so we are now, I think it's about a month old, and we are now a 2 Tesla car family. So wow. Now, I love it, and it's very exciting.
President Jody, I don't know this exactly, but I don't think the Tesla Model Y is a $15,000 economy car.
No, I would agree with that. It's probably about $15,000 for every square inch of the vehicle.
Yeah, I would say so. So based upon the new car tradition, if like I paid $10 when I got a like a 9-year-old Audi years ago. So I'm not sure.
over that yet?
No, I'm never going to be over that. So I'm not sure what you think, President Jody, about a fine what fine might be appropriate for Catherine.
Well, Catherine does a lot, and Catherine's one of our directors. Catherine, what do you think would be appropriate here? We'll put this to you. We'll get Larry, and then we'll see. But you got to pony up something here.
Okay, but I do want to remind you that it is electric vehicle, so I'm not contributing to climate change with it. So that's one thing. But you know, $50, I don't know. I'll take what I get.
I'll take 50. We're off to a heck of a start here, folks. And Catherine, to help the environment, don't drive that money to drop it off. E-transfer it to us, and then we're staying in line with the Tesla. What do we think?
That sounds pretty good to me. I don't think I need to fine anybody or suggest any fines for about the next 4 weeks, based upon the booty we got from Todd and Catherine. Next picture. Thank you very much, Catherine. Next picture. We did talk about this a few weeks ago, that Betty Ann's husband, Doug, had done some research and was able to find his biological sister, which was fantastic. And we saw this picture on Facebook a few days ago. And isn't that a wonderful story? Betty Ann, are you there?
I am. I am right here.
What a happy day. What a happy day that must have been, eh?
It was unbelievable. It was
Wonderful.
beyond anything. And it's hard to explain. The hugs were so tight between the two of them.
Is
And,
everybody double vaccinated?
yes, and
Oh.
that's why we were able to go. And our age makes a difference. So yeah, we were very careful. And so we were, all our families connecting, and but we just met the 4 of us for this time. And yeah, it was pretty good. Isn't it? Doug standing over here, I guess he heard his name. Yeah, the hugs were unbelievable. And she did up a book for us and had it printed of her life, so we would know what she was like in her birth certificate. And we gave her a ring that belonged to her mother, and it's her birthstone. So we think there's way more behind this than anything. So yeah, it was pretty exciting. So
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
President Jody, I don't think that for such a great, beautiful event that a fine is appropriate, notwithstanding the fact that you fined a very formerly ill Rotarian $100.
For once, at our start here, I am 100% in agreement, Betty Ann. That is a fantastic story for Doug and for your family. That's awesome. I got to applaud that.
Lastly, but not leastly, and thank you very much for that, President Jody. Lastly, but not leastly, for this year, the SAA committee would like to, because we're all kind of starving for togetherness and fellowship and such, we're going to try to have, as soon as it's appropriate and safe to do so, some get-together events on a regular basis. We're thinking something indoor like euchre or crokinole, if somebody besides me is into that, and outdoor we'll do some walks and some hikes and such. So if that interests you, shoot me an email or a text or something like that, and we'll put some stuff together. But with that, President Jody, I hand the mic back to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sergeant at Arms Larry. Well done. Great start. So that was a bit of fun. Looking forward to that. And I agree with what Sergeant at Arms Larry said. We're trying to have some fun, do things a little bit differently, and it'll go as it'll go. But thanks for everybody playing along. And Tucky, get here next week. We have a few announcements from the club or from the floor. We'll start with Satellite Chair Scott Elliott, please.
We're starting to meet, but in only 5 at a new location, which is going to be maintained through the year. And that's going to be at 676 Veterans Drive. And it's at the Barrie District Association of Realtors. And they have a conference room there, very nice setting. So we're just going to try it out the first time tonight. the links that you have for this meeting are now common with the evening meeting. So you use the same link, it's just when you're clicking on in the noon and one's clicked on the evening. So outside of that, just thanks to President Jody, past President Deb, and certainly Katie and Sue for all they've done, and look forward to a great year. Was there anything else you needed, Jody?
Nope, that's great. Thanks, Scotty.
Okay.
And a good point in there. Today's a bit of an amnesty day for addressing the chair. I'm not, past President Jody, you're right, it's different to here. And I know you're going to struggle through that, folks, but I didn't write the rules. You got to play by them, though. So yes, addressing the chair as President Jody is what we need to do. So got a bit of an amnesty today, but we'll catch that more next week. Catherine, you have an announcement for us, please.
I do, President Jody, guests and fellow Rotarians. This is with respect to the Tulip campaign. I'm not sure if everyone got a notice about this morning, but we are pleased to announce that as of July 5th, District 7010 has sold 613 Tulip Ball boxes. And at last count, 34 clubs are participating. Already our club has raffled off 6 boxes, and Jody just bought an extra 10 this morning, I believe. So now we have, excuse me, President Jody, now we have 14 boxes, and I believe probably over the next couple of weeks, we'll just start raffling them off. It's a great way for us to start raising funds for our Polio Plus campaign, because the boxes have already been purchased. And so there are only 2 cases of wild polio so far this year. So things are really going well with the whole campaign. So I think that's about it. So
That's
we'll
awesome.
keep you in the loop.
Thank you, Catherine. And certainly the update on polio, which is at the pinnacle of all of this. Literally, it is that close as has been the slogan over the years. And yeah, we'll figure out how we're going to auction these off and raise some money, but this will go a long way towards generating our club's contribution to our Polio Plus campaign. So that's excellent. And only because she really, really misses the microphone, I would love to ask past President Debbie to come join us here and make an announcement.
Oh, yes, President Jody, that sounds great. And I'm loving sitting here just enjoying the meeting. So thank you for that. Your setup looks great. Can you hear me okay?
Yep, it's a little garbly, but we can hear you. We
Little
heard that part.
garbly?
You said how great I look today. Thank you, Past President Deb.
Yeah. So, but yes, we do have announcement. We've got the district conference coming up September 10th to 12th. It will be organized with all the COVID restrictions and precautions in line. So they're definitely working through that aspect. It will be at the Senator Hotel and Conference Center. Everybody should know and recognize our District Governor, Steve Meadley. He's been on our Zoom quite a bit this past year and been supporting our club. So hopefully we can get out and support him as well. And as usual, there is golf just ahead of time. And there's a lot of activities. They've got ATV rides, pontoon boat tour, target shooting, a full bear brewery tour, and going into a mine, an active mine, and doing a tour. So come out, enjoy, and it could be one of the great times that we can get back in person again.
Absolutely. Thank you, Past President Debbie. And a plug for the event. It has been a while since I've been to a district conference, and it is a pretty amazing opportunity, certainly to meet other Rotarians, other clubs, see how they do things. There's always a wonderful slate of speakers and programs and fellowship opportunities. So this is in Timmins, which is a beautiful part of our province that probably a lot of people, other than Scotty, maybe haven't visited. I haven't been to Timmins, so I'm looking forward to it. So there is a call out to register quickly. I think their numbers may be off a little bit. So if you're interested, an email either has or will go out shortly with the link. Thanks, Jeff, to register. So I do encourage you to register. Thank you. And then we want to spend a few minutes sharing with you some of the areas that as a club and as a board, we are focusing on as we continue to move towards our re-engagement and reconnecting. In particular, our club's promotion, our social events, and our fundraising. And to that end, I have asked a couple of your directors and project chairs to share some details and plans with you. And I have to say, I had an opportunity to visit. Most of our committees have had their meetings this week, and I had an opportunity to visit one in person with live people, and it was fantastic. The energy, the communication, the passion was amazing. We've been bottled up for 16 months and had a chance to share. It was absolutely amazing. So let's bring our PR director, Jonathan Derrick, onto the screen, please, Jonathan.
Thank you, President Jody, SAA, Larry. I'm a little bit nervous to speak, to be honest with you, given the fines that have been levied so far today. So bear with me here. I think it appropriate first to thank last year's committee, last year's PR committee. Crazy year, and you shepherded us through that. So thank you for getting us through last year and passing the baton over to us. And thanks also to this year's committee. We did have our first meeting last Tuesday, and we did a hybrid Zoom in-person meeting at my backyard up in Hillsdale. And as Jody mentioned, it was absolutely terrific to get together, even in a distanced environment, and look at fellow Rotarians face to face and really engage in what turned out to be excellent dialogue and debate. We managed to make some decisions in terms of the direction that we're going to take PR this year, and want to share that with you today. The overall theme from a PR perspective is to be consistent and intentional with what we choose to share and who we choose to share it with. So to that end, the first decision we made was to separate internal club content from external facing content. And the first step towards achieving that was to create a Rotary Club of Barrie Facebook group. So thank you to past SAA Eric for taking the bull by the horn, so to speak, and creating that group already. Happy to say that there are already 38 club members who have joined that group. So the content that we can share with each other is open to any member. And hopefully this becomes an additional forum, particularly under these conditions, where we can, tease each other, share content to provide some finds for SAA Larry, and also just update the club on what's going on. So if you haven't already received an invitation and you do have a Facebook account, please do search for the Rotary Club of Barrie Facebook group and join that group. The second decision we made was to streamline our external content. And we had a debate for over an hour. And what we decided on as a group was we're going to focus on two main categories and be ultra focused in these two areas. So the first is to educate our community on who and what is Rotary. This year is a spectacular year to take that task on, because it also happens to be our club's 75th anniversary. So we're going to overlay the 75th anniversary as a theme to our education, and share material about the past accomplishments of the club, what we're doing today, and the future direction of the club. So an ask from everybody here is, if you do have a memory, there were a few that were shared at our meeting, that you feel connected to when it comes to Rotary or our club, please do feel free to share that with the PR committee. If you're willing, we would love to share that with the community as well. And the second area of focus is to promote our club and to promote what our club is doing today. So we're going to establish a content calendar. And if you can imagine us running campaigns around the activities of the club. So we will have the opportunity to be intentional and well planned about what the material is that we're sharing. to really promote the activities of the club throughout the year. So again, this is an ask which I'll carry forward to the board, just open lines of communication, but it's extended to the entire club as well. Let us know what you were doing, because there is so much incredible work that this club does in the community. And we would love to be able to support you and the club by promoting that to the community. That's the update from me. Really looking forward to taking on this task, and appreciate the responsibility, as to the rest of the committee members, instilled on us to be the face of the club this year. So thank you very much for that. Jody, I don't know if it's just me, but I can't hear you.
No, I was testing out my first rule to make sure you're muted when you're not supposed to talk, and I took it a little too far. I was just supporting what you said, Jonathan. As a group, we're all in this together. We all need to help at everything that we do. So when you get a tweet, a post, a Twitter or whatever, reshare it, retweet it, talk it, whatever the heck that is. But we're all in this. We need everybody to help us grow. So thanks, Jonathan. And I'm going to ask Special Projects Chair Chris Holmes, who is right here live. Chris is going to take the stage for a minute. Thanks, Chris.
Thank you, President Jody. So the Special Projects team has hit the ground running this year with some high expectations from our president, which is great. This means we'll be looking for a lot of support from the club in terms of participation, as well as getting the word out to the public about these special projects. Although I'm thinking that we might not need fundraising this year if we're continuing to levy fines against Todd Tuckey in such grandiose way, but
$100 a week.
With the government restrictions gradually being relaxed and Ontario finally catching up with the rest of the world, we're looking forward to hopefully enjoying our in-person events again. We do have some new projects on the slate, with the proviso that any of the new projects that we're introducing would be engaging for the club, as well as have low personnel requirements. So one of the most exciting opportunities that we have this year is to maximize the use of the online experiences generously offered by Ian Pavlik, as well as David Sopuch. So one of our initiatives will be to push the limits of these online tools. Some of the new projects that we're exploring right now are a hockey pool, which we would be introducing in the fall, right before the start of the NHL season, and it would be Mike Gruby that is chairing that. And then we're hopefully having a car auction in the new year, so in 2022, with the support of Audi Canada. So they're looking to help us out with a car for that auction. These are the projects that we currently have scheduled for this year, and I'm just going to mention their chairs. Right now we have the Fun Run, which is planned obviously to run again, hopefully live and in person, and David Thompson is running that. Unfortunately, as we all know, or hopefully know, Kempenfest is canceled for this year. We have the Virtual Santa, which is being chaired by Brian Galbraith. We have the Rotary Auction, which I believe Carrie Thornton will be speaking about in a few minutes. Wheels for Wellness by Rory Quinn. The Ice Fishing Derby is chaired by Wayne Dennis and Gary Kopp again this year. Spring Tonic, this is great. John O'Brien has generously offered to chair this project, which we're very excited about. Bob Greer has stepped in again for the Festival of Lights, and I know John Laking and Michael LeCollier always are a big supporter and help out a lot with that. With Table of Chairs with Paul Marley, and then hopefully we get some more traction on that this year. The Halloween project is being run by Dennis Tuck, and he sent out a flyer already, which looks great. So that's already started. And then we also have Earth Day, which is being led at this point by Greg McWatt. I wanted to also have a special thanks to the whole committee and especially to Arlette Utton for signing on as the assistant director. She's been a great help to me already. Although this is a very ambitious year, we're looking forward to a great year and anticipating some great support from the club. Additionally, I just wanted to say thanks to Kaylee Rod for leaving everything in such a great spot for me and passing on a lot of documentation and being very supportive. And a special thanks to President Jody for allowing me to have this opportunity. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Chris. And Chris has made a commitment. We haven't put our numbers up here today, guys, and we're going to do that next week. The short version is they're good and they're going to be fantastic. Chris has made a commitment not to cut his hair until we get to our fundraising goal this year. So if you don't want to see it, let's get in gear and generate some money here. So I can think of nobody more appropriate, though, to come literally kick us in the butts and tell us how to get behind a project than Carrie Thornton. And Carrie has stepped up and taken on the auction, which I believe is probably our longest running project. And Carrie is doing what Carrie does, and she's got some magical things planned. So Carrie, if you can step in here and share with us, please.
Thank you, President Jody, SA Larry, fellow Rotarians. My little speech today is going to be a little long-winded. It's partially going to be informative and partially going to be a bit of a guilt trip. So if we're ready, I'm going to start. You know, this year due to COVID, we've lost a lot of our large fundraising events. We've done a fantastic job as a club pivoting to make virtual events and to do what we could to keep it a strong year. And it's been fantastic. However, many of our labor-intensive projects were canceled. So, you know, ChemFest usually is our highest volunteer hours of the year. You know, that's the second year in a row we're not doing that. We didn't have Spring Tonic this year. There's a lot of volunteer hours that just weren't utilized. So we know there's some Rotarians who've been working diligently, doing lots of things in the background. And then there's a lot that haven't had to do much this year because those labor-intensive projects were canceled. So going into 2021, being in charge of the auction, I mean, it's COVID proof. There's no reason we won't be able to have a fantastic auction this year. And if we put some time and effort into it, we can grow it exponentially if we change it a little. The first and most obvious ask is going to be your time. When I look at the hours of volunteer time we've given in the past to things like ChemFest and Spring Tonic, I wonder why it's been such a struggle for the last few years for the club to engage people in the auction. I know working behind the bar at ChemFest is fun and helping kids build birdhouses is adorable. But working on the auction isn't that rewarding. It's a lot of grunt work in the background, but what it is it's a good moneymaker. And, you know, the last couple of chairs have done a fantastic job, but from what I've talked to them about, it's been with very little support. We have the ability to make a lot more money on the auction this year than we have in the past couple of years if we just get the support of the club. And it's non-negotiable. This is one of our biggest money-making projects that we can do this year without a ton of in-person time. So if people take that seriously and give a little bit more time and effort to this project, it can be a moneymaker similar to some of the other bigger projects we've done with a lot less time and effort. So I have a fairly aggressive goal this year. I can't do that by myself. The club is not going to make money without people stepping up and helping. If we keep doing the same effort that we've done over the last 4 years, we're going to have the same or less results. We can't grow it if we don't have more effort. It's really a get your hands dirty, put in some time to make it successful. In the past, the donations of gift cards and services have been good, solid money makers. We usually get full face value for a gift certificate. It's fantastic. But I think this year we can take some of those donations and think outside the box a little and put a little bit more effort into increasing our ticket prices and our bidding wars. Just by being creative and spending a little bit more time reaching out to our contacts and our business associates. So what I'm thinking for this year is I'd like to combine some of the donated items to make packages. So instead of just a restaurant gift card, we combine it with potentially a donated limo ride, maybe a gift certificate to a lounge first, then to the restaurant with the limo ride, and make it a romantic night package. A pub crawl, you know, we can coordinate with several lounges or bars in Barrie. We have a few, you know, Rotarians that can help us out with this. Small denomination gift certificates and make it a pub crawl night instead of one gift certificate to one place. And we likely can get a much higher package. We could even go further and have it led by a public figure, a local business person, and have them lead the pub crawl to make it a little bit more interesting. sporting events that, maybe include Simon memorabilia or team apparel and make it a package, cooking class by a local restaurateur in your home. These are the kinds of things we have the contacts to make this happen. We just have to put in the effort to get some volunteer hours to help put together the ideas, gather some of the donations, and then take some of the donations that our Rotarians are so good at getting and coming up with out of the box ways to combine them to make bigger ticket items. I've done a lot of research on other fundraising auctions in the States and across Canada. There's some great ideas. Best pizza in town. We combine, 10 pizzerias with gift certificates, and somebody bids on the best pizza in town. There's a prize at the end when their family votes. And then that pizza place gets a little bit of extra recognition. We blast it on social media and give them a bit of an opportunity to get a little bit of free marketing as well, instead of just giving us gift certificates. And if we do some of these packages, the asks might be smaller. Instead of a $100 gift certificate from a restaurant, we get 4 $25 ones and put them into different packages. Gift baskets always sell well in raffles because usually they sell for more than the value of the items inside. We do, sports theme, baby theme, movie night theme, and we sell off gift baskets. Very often a gift basket that has a $50 or $100 value inside can sell for upwards of $200 if they're cute, if they have a good theme, and if they're done well. So these are things we could easily do. Custom artwork. So many businesses are creating fun signs and personalized things nowadays. We could easily reach out to some of our contacts and have personalized signs, things like that we can auction off. Those are just things that are a little bit outside of the box. The regular services and gift cards we get, I am by no means saying we don't want them. I just think we can take a few of these items and turn them into more of a bidding war and a little bit higher price tickets. Personal assistant for the day. This could draw a lot. Think about slave auctions when you're in high school. I'm not sure how many of you are familiar with those, but I know when I was in high school, if you got somebody pretty popular, or somebody off the football team, or somebody people really wanted to give a hard time to, they paid a lot of money to get that slave for a day. So if we could do something like that with a local public figure or somebody, in the community that people know, people will bid a lot of money to have them as a personal assistant for a day. Those are the kinds of things that just take volunteer time, and we can make a good amount of money on it. Timeshares. There's tons of people that have timeshares they're not using. Local ones like Horseshoe, Blue Mountain, a night in a timeshare, we throw in some flowers and a bottle of wine, and now it's a romantic night away package. Again, these are things we could probably get donated fairly easily if we just put in the effort. I'm not asking people to put together a package, but if we get more creative pairing items or going a little bit extra, we can definitely increase the bids and get more interest and engagement. I would like to introduce some buy now options, some timed items where there's a sense of urgency to bid on it right away and not to wait till the last 2 days of the auction and try and outbid everybody else. So we're looking at some creative ways to increase the engagement and have people a little bit more checking the auction constantly and thinking they're going to lose their bid even halfway through the auction, just to get that sense of urgency. So that's really all I have to say. I just really want everyone to come away from this and think about the potential of money that this brings in and the very few volunteer hours that this project has gotten in the last 3 to 4 years. Last year, I believe most of the auction was done by 3 people. So we can't expect to do better. And those 3 people did a fantastic job, but we can't expect to grow it. We can't expect to make 10% more, 20% more. I'd like to make 50% more. Maybe even 100% more, but I need people's help to do that. One person cannot grow this auction. So please think about it. Please realize that we haven't had to give a lot of volunteer hours this year to Rotary, and this is a great opportunity to put in some time and really help our club make more money for the community. And that's all I've got, President Jody. You're still on mute, Jody.
I can't adapt to my own notes. Carrie, thank you for that. And folks, I know we're chatting a lot today, but quite frankly, there's a lot to say and there's a lot for our club to do. So there's nothing I can add to Carrie's message other than let's get behind it. So thank you. And thank you to everybody. So now we're going to launch into our breakout room session. And I'm asking for somebody, when you go into your room, somebody individually to step up to record some notes. Today, I'm introducing a topic that is relevant in the news and perhaps will be uncomfortable for us to discuss. The past and present social issues and concerns of Indigenous people in Canada. Most recently, the residential school system atrocities. Additional topics for discussion may be land acknowledgements, clean water, and there is an initiative from the district that was paused that will be reintroduced. accurate historical representation, and others. What I am hoping will take place today is not a political discussion nor a religious discussion. Rotary International is crystal clear that we do not stand in those arenas. Rather, I feel that some awareness and a rudimentary level of understanding can be achieved. Ultimately, I am seeking some direction from the club on what information that we as a board and myself as your club president can bring forward for further discussion and educational purposes. Personally, I am embarrassed to admit that until a few weeks ago, I truly had no knowledge of this horrific and sad part of our history. We are not here today to change history or even to try to make amends for it. As Rotarians, on a daily basis, we have an opportunity to change lives. That is the opportunity that I hope is derived from this initial discussion. If you do not wish to participate in a breakout room, that is your right. I will host in the main meeting room a general talk about whatever we have. I encourage you to participate. I encourage somebody to take notes and send those to me afterwards. And I encourage you to come back after our breakout room here for the wrap up of the meeting. So I think Jeff will launch. Scotty, you've got a question?
Just a quick note, President Jody, is tonight we have a speaker, I think it's Douglas, I don't have his name quite correctly there, but this speaker is speaking to Aboriginal conditions, and he is a top guy in Canada for advising the government, and he goes around the world helping other countries with dealing with these kinds of issues. So if you have curiosity, it's the same link you use for noon hour. You can link in tonight. And very good speaker.
Good ad there, Scotty. And I'll turn it around a little bit on you and say, you need to get me that information sooner, my friend, so I can share that. Sorry. So let's break off into the rooms here, and I'll stay in this room here. So I'll just not join. Will that kick me? No. Okay. So this is the main? Yeah. Okay. We can talk or not talk for anybody that's still here.
Jody, President Jody.
Yes, Graham.
I must have something wrong with my computer because I keep hitting the mute, but I continue to hear you.
If there was anybody that was going to come out with that, it would have been you. I was going to say, Graham, I really enjoyed the meeting on Tuesday night, but you were there and I'd be lying. But I wouldn't actually say that, Graham.
This is a technical issue.
Mute and audio are two different things. What you hear and what we hear from you wouldn't be the same.
You know, at the RI convention when it was in Toronto in 2018, you don't have to leave once. They did a thing. It was a breakout section at the convention. It was called the blanket exercise. I thought we were going to have a nap, but it ended up being a really, really educational meeting about the history of colonialism and Indigenous relations in Canada. And it was a phenomenal thing. I'd like to get in touch with the folks that did it, maybe suggest them to Jason MacArthur, who's chairing the P&I committee this year, to see if we can have something like that, because it's a fun, very pithy and deep, and at some points kind of sad exercise, but it's a wonderful thing that really raised awareness for me anyways. I don't know. Just my thoughts.
Sorry, Larry, didn't mean to.
That's okay.
Step off the stage.
That's okay.
So Todd, while we're here, how are you? Like, what do you, if I can ask this, do you have any limitations right now or restrictions with movements with what you're doing?
Just get
He's
tired.
$100 poorer is how he is.
Yeah. Just tired all the time. I find I nap a lot. Limitations, they're monitoring me, but they just said, just daily progress, just go slow. I asked them about, important things in life like golfing and that, and like, they don't think I could take the trauma of trying to swing like an idiot. So they said, give it a little bit. And when you feel up to it, maybe just go out to a range and that. But I'm in regular consultation now with my doctor and Dr. Rabanovich down at Toronto Western. So basically all they're just saying is a day at a time. They're going to run more tests than that, but they never could find the source of the bleed. They just knew that eventually it stopped, thank God. And now the head, it just needs to slowly drain. So.
Now, I chatted with Sandy and with Jacqueline. How are your three girls doing
Okay.
with everything? They've been through a lot.
Yeah.
The club
All right.
wanted, sorry, Todd, go ahead.
Nope, they're all right. Thank you.
The club wanted to know what we could do, and Paul and I certainly talked and knew that you've got things under control and you were pulling strings when you shouldn't have been, but
Yeah.
And you won't answer this the way I may want you to, but is there anything that we can do for you guys or in any way at all for Sandy?
Maybe for me, I'm down 34 pounds and every day I just keep losing weight. I'm eating normal, but I can't stop losing it, and they don't know why, but I like chocolate.
I ain't buying you chocolate, my friend.
No, really, there's nothing but thank you. The kids have learned how to cut the grass. For the third time, they finally figured out that the mower is self-propelled. I went out and showed them, and then I had to come back in and rest. But it's like, yeah, you don't have to push it. It goes on its own. But no, things have been great, And Sandy's getting a little bit of sleep now when she tries to watch around me, but
She's strong, man. She's really strong.
yeah, but no, all in all, just day at a time.
Todd, can we go back to the golf game?
Yeah.
Because as I recall, you weren't the greatest golfer to begin with.
Hey,
Do you expect it to improve?
I got rid of that midsection now, so I might be able to get my swing through.
Okay.
So you never know.
Good to hear.
That midsection is what gave you that big hook in your swing because you had to get out and around it.
See, so now maybe I'll hit a straight ball. I might not hit far, but I'll hit it. Yeah, same thing. Like they said, basically for now, don't really drink or do anything. It's not that I care to. It's the last thing I'm craving. So just, yeah, no real restriction. Like your body is going to tell you. So just take it one day at a time and go slow. And I went to see Kirsten's new house the other night. She got it 2 weeks ago up in Aurelia, and it was all I could do just to walk around. I had to sit down 4 or 5 times. And then as soon as we were done looking, I just said, like, sorry, I got to go home. Like, just no energy, which I don't understand. Like, I'm eating and stuff, but every day seems to be a little bit better.
Well, your body's going through a lot, so
Yeah.
it's going to force you to rest and relax. So
Yeah, something I haven't done in years. So yeah, I've just been lying around, getting caught up on all the newest TV shows. I watched The Flying Nun yesterday, The Walton, all that great stuff. There's a retro channel on, so it's like, yeah, I might as well watch this. I don't really remember it from back then, so what the heck.
Is there a timeline, or is it just based on how you feel and how you progress?
Yeah, no timeline whatsoever. No. They said they figure maybe in a month I could golf, maybe sooner if I felt up to it. Try and get out of the house and go for a little walk or whatever. But yeah, no real interest in walking anywhere. I get up in the morning, I come down to the main level, I have a coffee, I watch some TV, breakfast, then I go downstairs, which I'll be doing after this, and I put my feet up, I'll have a little nap and then watch some TV and then dinner. It's beyond boring, like crazy boring.
That sounds wonderful, except for the hospital part and the injury to your brain. The napping and going downstairs and watching The Flying Nun sounds fantastic.
Yeah, and what's on now? Is it something's on in Europe? Some golf. I was watching a bit this morning.
Hey Todd, what's their biggest concern with you? Like, are they concerned of it bleeding again or anything like that?
Well, funnily enough, no, they don't think that's going to be an issue, even though they didn't get to the source of it. They figure I was just one of those weird cases, and that the bleeding stopped, and I had what do you call it? Vasal spasms. So it was the blood, and it was just making my head absolutely pound because it's up there. It's just it's got nowhere to go. It's going to
Right.
migrate back to the body. right?
Pressure.
No, they say they anticipate a full recovery and that they don't think there'll be any issues moving forward. They did a lot of we call them like CAT scans, CT scans, this stuff where they're constantly like running a dive through you. Like I got a hole right in my groin, right next to the man part, so I can't do much there. But they just said, we're going to run this dive through you, and they did it several times, and they just could never get to the source of the bleed. But they're like, when we run this through, you're going to feel it in your head, and you're going to feel it down. You feel it like in your groin area, and you think you're going to have, what? Don't you worry. I'm beyond that embarrassed part anymore. If I have to pee, I'm going to pee right here. But no, it's just they don't anticipate any future issues. But I do have follow-up appointments with Toronto Western just so they can see if there are any issues, if anything happens. So, but no, hopefully all is good and it just clears itself up.
Thanks for sharing more of that with us, Todd. So folks, I hope that went all right. For the people that did record notes, please email those to me, and we as a board are going to source some of that. Scotty brought forward a fantastic opportunity tonight for some more information and learning. So next week's speaker will be Dale Boyle, talking about safer spaces. And once again, we will be on Zoom. I found a Cherokee proverb that I thought was a fitting wrap up to today's meeting. There is a battle of two wolves inside us all. One is evil. It is anger, jealousy, greed, resentment, lies, inferiority, and ego. The other is good. It is joy, peace, love, hope, humility, kindness, empathy, and truth. The wolf that wins, the one you feed. Having no other business today, for the good of Rotary, I declare this meeting adjourned. Thank you.
Good meeting, Jody. President Jody.
Thank you.
Honey, good to see you, big guy. Big guy.
Good meeting, President Jody.
Yeah, good to
Well
see you.
done, President Jody.
Thanks.
you,
Jody.
President Jody. Good
Great job,
start.
President Jody.